So in this video, so we are talking about a brute force. The We have a drawbacks in brute force map learning algorithm. That is using these two formulas. That means that we find the posterior probability for each of the hypotheses. There are when there are multiple hypotheses which are correct. Okay, so we find the posterior probability for each of the hypotheses using this formula. Later, we examine whichever has the highest probability of being correct, that we will select. Okay, so that is a brute force means we check one by one. We apply this posterior probability formula to every hypothesis. Okay, so that makes it brute force, and one by one examine which has the highest probability of being correct. So that's why it is called a brute force a map learning algorithm. Okay, so you apply that formula to each hypothesis and find out whichever has the highest probability of being correct. So this is a brute force method, and we want to this is, as we have discussed previously, computationally intensive. So this one is a computationally intensive, so we need to find a better method uh, where it is computationally less intensive. Okay, so the good idea is allowing us to pick any of the hypothesis which is consistent with the data set. Okay, so a data set is given, a hypothesis is matching to the data set. Okay, is consistent with the data set. Okay, so any hypothesis which is consistent with the data set, if we have the freedom to pick that one, we don't have to examine each and every hypothesis. We can examine one hypothesis. If it is correct, then we can pick it. Okay, it makes the hypothesis selection less computationally intensive. So okay, so there are scenarios where it's okay if the hypothesis is less correct. Okay, so but it should not be computationally intensive. So in those situations we can use this method. Okay, so this topic, what it does, so we have brute force map learning algorithm which is computationally intensive. So what we make, instead of checking for every hypothesis, check only one hypothesis. Whenever you get that consistent hypothesis, take that one. Okay. So how to mathematically represent that case? How to mathematically represent that case? So that's what we will see in this video. This So we will now see what are the features of that map algorithm. What is the disadvantage? So this brute force map algorithm, map hypothesis algorithm. Okay, so this algorithm may require significant computation because it applies a Bayes theorem to each hypothesis in the hypothesis set to calculate the posterior probability. Okay, so that we have discussed. So what is the positive thing? Positive thing is it stands as a benchmark. Okay, so you come up with some other ways to calculate or to simplify the calculation which is more efficient. Okay, so it is good or not, how do we know? The new method, it is good or not, how do we know? So this is the benchmark. Okay, if it is better than map, okay, brute force map learning algorithm, then okay, so uh, that's positive. So if you are getting better results than brute force map learning algorithm, okay, so then the alternative idea is good one. Okay, so this acts as a benchmark. So it provides a standard against which we may judge the performance of the other concept learning algorithm. Okay, so uh, keeping this brute force map learning algorithm as a benchmark, we may judge the performance of the other concept learning algorithm. So, what is the disadvantage? So, disadvantage of brute force map learning algorithm is we must specify what values are to be used for P of H, P of D given H. Okay, so these two values we must know so that we can apply the posterior probability formula, right? So we need to know this. So this consumes a lot of computation, and we want to find a way where these things are simplified. Okay, so we need to derive a better formula for our posterior probability calculation. Okay, so this calculation, we want the formula already present. We want to simplify it, simplify the computation. So before deriving that one, we make some assumption that the training data is noise free. There are no errors in the data set, and also the target concept is contained in the hypothesis hedge. So what is containing the target concept is discussed in the first chapter only. Uh, so just as a quick real world example, so you may think, what is the guarantee that you have studied the question exactly which may come for the examination? Okay, so the same thing. So what is the guarantee that the hypothesis which we have framed by the training is able to classify some concept in the real world? Okay, so the target concept is contained in the hypothesis H. So we have no prior reason to believe that hypothesis is more probable than others. Means all hypotheses have equal chance. So what are the assumption? One is data set is good, it is noise free. Another one, the hypothesis which we frame, it is open to it contains the target concept. Okay, all variable instances which may occur, so all those it can correctly classify. Okay, it is able to classify if we train using the data set. And also all hypotheses, while we assume here that there are multiple hypotheses which are correct. Okay, so all hypotheses have equal probability of being a good hypothesis. Okay, all hypotheses, all consistent with the dataset hypothesis, okay, have equal probability of getting selected. Okay, so these are the assumptions before we are making before we start deriving the formula, simplified formula. So giving that assumption, we will start simplifying the formula. Okay, so suppose there are three hypotheses in hypothesis set H1, H2, and H3. So we know that there can be multiple hypotheses, some consistent, some non-consistent. So together forms the hypothesis set H. Okay, so what is the probability? So if we don't know which hypothesis has the highest probability of getting selected, if we do not have that knowledge, that means all H1, H2, H3 has the same probability of getting selected, right? So how do we calculate that? So in this case, it is 1 by 3. H1 has 1 by 3 chance of getting selected. H2 has 1 by 3 chance of getting selected. H3 has 1 by 3 chance of getting selected. Okay. So what is H here? It is 3. Means number of elements in set H, number of hypotheses in hypothesis set H. So in other words, how can we write? We can write like this, right? So that's what written in the first point. So given no prior knowledge that one hypothesis is more likely than another, okay, so it is reasonable to assign the same prior probability to every hypothesis. Okay, so as we are not preferring any one hypothesis, okay, so we don't have any prior knowledge. Okay, so therefore we are assign all every hypothesis here have the same probability of getting selected. Okay, p of h equal to 1 by number of elements in the set. Okay, so each hypothesis has the same prior probability. So what about the p of d given h? Okay, what is p of d given h? For the hypothesis, what is the probability that the data set will be occurring? Okay, so what does that mean? That means p of d h is 1 if the hypothesis is correct. Okay, if the hypothesis is holding. So if the hypothesis, the data set is inconsistent with the hypothesis, then the probability is 0. Okay, so what is the probability of data set occurring, okay, given the hypothesis H is correct? Okay, so what it is, if the data set, if a particular data set occurs, okay, for a positive hypothesis, for a correct hypothesis, then it is 1. Okay, so if we have have inconsistent hypothesis, okay, as by definition, the hypothesis should be correct. As it is, if we encounter an inconsistent hypothesis for the data set, it turns to be zero. The probability turns to be zero. Either the data set is consistent with the data hypothesis, gives one, okay, or the data set is inconsistent with the hypothesis, gives us the data probability zero. Okay, so that's what this one is given. So let's start with the brute force map learning algorithm. We have P of H given D equal to P of D given H, P of H, okay, P of D. Now we have made in our data set, okay, so in our hypothesis, there are hypotheses which are consistent with the data set. There are hypotheses which are inconsistent with the data set. Okay, so there are hypotheses which are consistent with the data set, which are not consistent with the data set. Okay, so this is always 1 by h, this is 1. Okay, so keep it this way. So if we go on to do that, what happens? If we first we will take the case where the data set is inconsistent with the hypothesis. So what happens here? P of d of h, according to our assumption, it will be 0. Okay, so here 0 is substituting, which makes everything is 0. The posterior probability is 0 if hypothesis is inconsistent with the data set. Okay, so the posterior probability is for the hypothesis 0 if it is inconsistent with the data set. We don't have to worry about that. Okay, so if it is consistent, so leave this, we will go. This is actually simplification. I will give a much more simplified explanation. So P of D of H will be 1, P of H will be 1 by H. Okay, here P of D is 1. Okay, now, so what it will be resulting in 1 by H. Now this hypothesis set we have to observe. So there are two cases here, which are where hypothesis is inconsistent with the data set. In this case, hypothesis is consistent with the data set. Okay, so there is H, hypothesis H, which comprises everything, all possible hypotheses, which are consistent and non-consistent. Okay, so now what we have made a division. Some are consistent, some are not consistent. Okay, so some are consistent, some are not consistent. So if that is the case, so we have taken a not consistent one. So we are now here taking the consistent hypothesis. Okay, so with hypothesis which are consistent with the data set. That means that we are making a subdivision in the hypothesis set. Okay, we are making two sets out of hypothesis set. So if we make subset out of hypothesis set, so it is called version space. Version space. What is version space? It is a subset of hypothesis set which are consistent with the data set. We have come across version space in a candidate elimination algorithm. Okay, so version space is a set of hypotheses which are consistent with the data set, and they are subset of the whole set. Okay, set of hypotheses. Okay, so here we are not considering entire set uh, H, okay, hypothesis set, but a subset of hypotheses which are consistent with the D. That's why we don't write it as H. So we write it as a version space. Okay, so this becomes version space. Version space with respect to D. This one. This becomes version space. So in simple, uh, just as a summary, we will see. So we have a brute force algorithm. So this is so here we are taking two cases. Here we are taking two cases. One which are consistent with the data set, one which are inconsistent with the data set. Hypothesis which are consistent with the data set, hypothesis which are inconsistent with the data set. Okay. So if they are inconsistent, this becomes 0 and everything is 0. Okay, so there we are making two divisions now in the hypothesis set H. Okay, so one is a consistent hypothesis, another one is inconsistent hypothesis. We are picking up the second case, that is inconsistent hypothesis with the data set. It makes this as 0 and makes everything as 0. Next we are taking consistent hypothesis. Okay, consistent with the data set. Now HD. So what it becomes? This becomes 1 by H by 1. Okay, so what is 1 by H? Now we are not writing it as H. This H contains all the hypotheses which are consistent, inconsistent, everything. But now here we are focusing on only on the consistent hypothesis. So it forms a subset now. So it is forming a subset now. So what is the version space? According to the definition, it's a subset of hypothesis set which are consistent with the data set. So we are here also considering only which are hypotheses which are consistent with the data set. So we are not writing it as H, we are writing it as version space, where version space of H. So this is the what you are getting here. Okay, so this is the formula. So now what we have achieved, so we don't have to know P of H now. We don't have to know uh, this P of B given H now. Okay, so to obtain the posterior probability, we just have to know how many hypotheses are consistent with the data set. That's it. Okay, so we don't have to know all these extra. So only thing we have to know that how many hypotheses are consistent with the data set. If we know, we can straight away find out the what is the posterior probability. So we have uh, decreased the computations in the formula to find the posterior probability. So what is the posterior probability? Uh, So we are writing it finally as like this. So posterior probability of H given the posterior probability of H given D is, so if they are consistent, then 1 by consistent number of consistent hypotheses. So if they are inconsistent, 0. Okay, so remember the previously we had something like this. It has been redefined now. Okay, uh, so straight away, so this actually means that it counts the number of consistent hypothesis, okay, and then do 1 by the number of consistent hypothesis. Okay, so version space of hypothesis which are true to the data set. This is one. Okay, so this is the formula which we have derived later. So just as a uh, post derived from the formula. So the map hypothesis and consistent learner. So what they are? So the above analysis shows that the given setting every hypothesis is consistent is a map hypothesis. Okay. So now so we so what is the drawback if we have to make some observation on the analysis if we have to make? So what can we observe? So we have made a distinction here that some are consistent, some are non-consistent. Okay. So suppose all hypotheses are consistent. Okay. So worst case scenario, all hypotheses are consistent, then it is equivalent to brute force map algorithm. Okay, so this becomes this previous derivation becomes equal to brute force map algorithm. So the another one, what is consistent learner? So a learning algorithm is a consistent learner provided it outputs a hypothesis that commits zero errors over the training examples, not a new instance. Okay, so it's a consistent learner. So you have a syllabus, you learn it only the syllabus correctly and write very well. So consistent learner. A learning algorithm is a consistent learner provided it outputs a hypothesis that commits zero error over training examples. Okay, so next point, every consistent learner outputs a map hypothesis if we assume a uniform prior probability distribution over given H. So uniform prior probability distribution means all are consistent with the data set. Okay, so that's what these two are supportive of the first point what we discussed. Okay, so if we have a consistent learner, then it always outputs a map hypothesis. Okay, so what does here assumption is, so we only have the consistent hypothesis in a hypothesis set. So if that is the case, then it is if the computation cost will be equivalent to map hypothesis. So this is about the uh, Bayesian theorem and concept learning. How do you learn the concept in Bayesian theorem? So that's what we are. So what is important here? So I have given one derivation. Okay. So the derivation what we made, so keep that, learn that one, and all the supporting symbols what I have given. So write that one. Okay. So that's it. If you write